So for today's tutorial, I thought it'd be super fun to be loosely inspired by Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry is a fashion icon, a music icon of her time. She was really, really very, very famous in the sort of late 70s, 80s and into the 90s. And so many fashion shoots that I've been on, she has been referenced, whether it's her hair, which was always in that super bright bleach blonde, and the bangs and the bob, whether it was her eye makeup, which I've kind of just tried to work on just a little bit to work with the feel today. I did a little bit more of a dark liner, whether it was her clothes or whether it was her music, but she was just the ultimate cool chick. So I thought that would be super, super fun. And one thing that she did have pretty much all the time that was consistent was a bang, whether it was slightly longer grown out, whether it was super blunt, but it was always there and quite present in her haircut. So I wanted to share with you my techniques that I use for adding fake fringe. In the UK, it's a fringe. In the US, it's a bang. So adding a fringe, and there are things that can make it sort of look really supernatural like your hair. So that is what I wanted to share with you today, just my sort of behind the scenes techniques for doing that. And I have a couple of images that I want to show you. One is of Carly Kloss that I did for her on the last season of Project Runway. And I was so happy with how this came out, because to me, you can see in this picture, I think that looks like her hair. So that was a really cool way of changing her whole look with a fringe. It really does change sort of the whole shape of the face and everything. And then there's another one that I did for a cover of Elle magazine, which is a softer kind of bang, but also that's a clip-on fringe. So either way, you can use them strong, soft, however you decide to do it. But that's what I wanted to share with you today. So anyway, so I'm going to crack on with that. First of all, though, I did prep my hair so it would be a little bit quicker, so we could kind of get straight into the putting on the fringe. And I did a few things. It's got product on it, and I've done my little twist so that it would be a little bit easier for me to comb through. I used the all-in-one milk, which is a product that you leave into the hair, you spray on, you leave it in, and it really helps to smooth the outside of the hair, improve the condition, but also just make it so much easier to comb, so you're not damaging the hair as you're combing it. And then also what I used was this one too, which is a texturizing serum. I'm putting it this way because the writing's this way, but this is a texturizing serum, and it's a light serum. So I used a fair amount of this product, and I just put it all through the hair. I put both of those products through the hair, left them in, and then did my twists, just twisting in one direction and twisting in the other direction. Now, because this is more about the fringe, I just wanted to show you one thing though before I get into that. This is air dried, totally air dried, the twists, then I go through them just a little bit. If you just want to seal it a little bit, maybe just straighten the end a tiny bit, because my hair has a little bit of wave to it, so I feel like it has that sort of cooler element of the bob if it's a little bit more blunt on the ends. So I just kind of go through a little bit with the straightening iron, but not too much. You really don't need to do it too much. We're going for that sort of that Debbie Harry kind of super undone kind of natural look that she would have to her hair, which was probably sometimes blow dry, sometimes not, sometimes kind of the morning after kind of looking hair. So that's really what I'm going for. And then what you want to do is just break it up. Okay, so the bit that I know you've been waiting for is putting on those bangs. So if you can see at the root here, they're a little bit darker. So now, how do you do that? There's a couple of things you can do. If you don't want to get into actually using hair color at home, because that can get quite complicated, you can get your hairstylist, of course, I'm sure would oblige and have so much fun just doing a little dark root. If you have a dark root, that will help it look super, super natural. The other thing you can do is you can use like a spray like this. This is RITA HAZAN, and this is actually the light brown. So you can spray that on there too. I use color to do it, but you can spray this on and it will just dull that root down and it will make it look much more natural. So what's the trick? Okay, there's a few tricks there already, but you want them to fall really close to your head, and you don't want them to move around. Now, if you just take these, I want to show you now, if you just take these, they come on underneath, you'll see they have 3 clips on them, right? So now if I just clip that 2 clips go here and 1 clip goes here. I've started in the middle part so it's easier to get, it'll be even on both sides. If I just clip them on, there's nothing to really hold the hair, so it's gonna move. And if it comes away from the head, then it's not gonna look that natural. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a braid on each side, which just kind of gives it something to anchor to, and then you can clip your bangs into there. So, okay, so the idea of this is just to take a slight sort of thin section at the front on both sides, all right, just so that you can actually braid that hair there. So I'm going to take that section and I'm going to clip this. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally just braid this down a little bit. So we have 2 braids, 1 each side, held with your little invisible elastic bands. Just be careful how you take these out because they will break your hair if you don't take them out very, very carefully. Okay, so this is our anchor to hold the fringe. Now, what did I tell you about the fringe? I'm trying to think. I'm not repeating myself, but I will put the people that stock these below the video so you can try and, you can get one if you'd like to. They come in so many different colors and so many different variations. So just pick the one that you think is closest to yours. The best thing to do is pick the one that's closest to the ends of your hair. Because then what you can do is, as I said, you can use one of these sprays to dull the roots down, and that will just make it look super natural. I have a really long root right now. Normally it's not quite as long as this, but as everyone else, I've been in quarantine for a long time. So my hair has grown, like, 2 months of growth. So it's actually pretty dark at the root. So I've just put a little bit more darkness in here, but I might even have to spray it when I have it on. So, okay, how do you put it in? This is what you do. You literally just get it in the middle of your head, and your label is in the middle. So if you put the label on the front there, and then you're using those, your braids as an anchor. So you're just gonna clip it down into those braids. Now, this one I have actually used before, so it was already pre-cut. I will show you when I can get to the hair store. I will show you how from the beginning with a slightly longer one. I will bring that back so you can see that. But okay, so this is the idea. You see here, it has that little dark root, and it does need a little bit more dark just into here, I feel like, to blend. Because if you look from the side, my roots are so dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my RITA HAZAN medium. This is the medium brown, and I'm literally going to lift this up, and I'm going to spray this piece here. Okay, now just let it dry a little bit, and then you can just rub it so it's actually, just break that up just a little bit, that line. Okay, to me that looks better. It's so strange because I have a fringe all of a sudden, so I can't see. So yeah, so that looks a little bit better, and then I can do the same. I feel like I need to do the same just with this piece here as well. So I'm gonna lift this piece up, the last piece of the fringe, which is kind of like right there, and I'm gonna spray that with a little bit of this too. There you go. And just let it dry and then let it fall down. So it'll just, you can rub it in a little bit, and that will definitely help with the blend. And I don't know, maybe this piece needs a tiny bit as well, just at the very roots, just to give us that a little bit more natural, there, tiny bit, just to dull it down a little bit. That stuff is great, and you can literally put it wherever you feel, and it's really just a case of putting it on and seeing, so you kind of have that, the dark root now coming through to the front. Okay, so when you're cutting it, the best thing to do, I find, when I'm cutting a fringe is to use texturizing scissors. And I have a few different types because obviously I'm a hairstylist, so I have loads of pairs of scissors. But depending on how much you want to take out. But the reason I like to use texturizing scissors is you kind of can't make so much of a mistake, because you can, you cut in, even if you've taken it a little bit short, you haven't cut all the hair away. So I'm going to use these ones because they actually take out slightly less hair. And all you need to do is, if you just look at it, you just tweak it and you can twist it a little bit. And then you just take the scissors and you just cut in like that. And then you're just taking out tiny little bits at a time, and you can just lighten. I love a fringe with slightly in a point in the middle, so it comes slightly shorter and then it comes down past the edges. But I kind of love the way that this is just touching there. That's much more, that's kind of, to me, that looks a bit more rock and roll. It's kind of in my eyes. It's not necessarily the most practical length, but so what else to do? I want to just, well, the pieces that I put in don't have any movement in them because they weren't, I just blow dried it very roughly. So I want to sort of create the same texture from the sides now. So I'm just going to do the same technique that I used on my hair. I'm just going to twist it in with my hair. So twisting it around and just using that same technique with the iron. So then you're getting that little bit of texture that will blend, using it up here too. And this is another way you're going to get it to look really like your hair. I mean, I'm a Gemini, so I kind of love to look different. To me, this is super fun. And you can kind of play games with people as well. You're going out to a party and you show up and you can just be sort of, yeah, hey, I cut bangs. And of course you really didn't, but that's fine. They won't know. They won't know the difference. So just do the same thing on the other side as well. Just twisting. So I'm going to use a couple of products. So the first one I'm going to use is a medium hold pliable paste. I really want to continue with the hold. I love the way that this texture is. It's a little fluffy. It has, I don't want to take away that fullness. So the paste will help with that. So let's put a little bit of this on your hand and then work this through. And this is it's a really nice paste because it just kind of gives it giving it hold, as I say, and then keeping those pieces in place there so that they actually have that texture, they keep that texture, and getting a little bit on the end so you're getting rid of that fluffiness. Put a little bit in the fringe too, just to give it, just to give it that lived in feel. Take a piece across to the side, take a piece across to the side like that. Just hold it so you're not pulling it out off your head. It looks so good, I actually forgot it wasn't mine. Not really, but yeah. Okay, so anyway, so just working this paste a little bit in, and then you can see it's starting to look like a little bit more natural just because it's a little bit lived in. It's not as perfect, a little bit grungy. So we're just working with the paste. And then the other thing that I'd like to do is just to add a little bit of shine. And just to make it feel a little bit softer, not soft that it's going to go flat, but just so it feels kind of good to the touch. So I'm going to use this product, which is another Davines product. It's kind of really interesting because it's a moisturizing balm, but you can use it on your body, you can use it on your hair, you can kind of use it anywhere, which I love a product that has different uses, because then you can have one product and you can just do so many different things with it. So you can put it on your hands. I mean, I actually have some of the paste on my hands, so I'm not gonna put it kind of like all over my body at the same time because I'll have paste, but then just kind of work this into the hair. And this just breaks it up a little bit more, but it's also just giving it that little bit sort of softness to it that makes it feel a little bit lived in, little shine, and rock and roll. Rock and roll definitely wasn't, so as I said, wasn't so perfect. So this is the final result. I hope you really like it. And I don't think anyone's going to know that you didn't actually go and cut bangs into your hair. So enjoy, have fun. Thank you, Debbie Harry, for being such an amazing inspiration for this tutorial. Please subscribe. Be well.